work. Maybe
Recording is on.
if it's just the router addresses, maybe it's just like a 1 day effort. But yeah, if it doesn't work, then if we have to investigate, then it takes some time. Let's say optimistically it'll take like 1 day to expand to base, I guess. Now Vance, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
So the plan would be that if we can expand this to base and zk sync, we will go live. We will be able to make a release only after testing it in their mainnet. So I don't think we can test it before
Well,
and then
their mainnet is live,
for
so
base.
you can do testing. Well, for ZK Sync, but like base may be the mainnet will likely be live for partners, like for like whitelisted people. Really, the thing that's whitelisted is the bridge, but you can like at least ZK Sync, the mainnet's live. You just try to get ETH there, but you could already, if you have ETH, you could already deploy stuff on ZK Sync.
Okay, okay,
So ZK Sync is probably easier than Base because ZK Sync is already live. Base is not. It's just not publicly live. Base is. They said they released the testnet, but and then at some point, the mainnet is live, and then, but it's probably not like open live for everyone. Because like remember Arbitrum, right? They want you to like have everything on there, make sure the stuff works,
yeah,
and then they make it live for the public, right?
yeah, yeah.
So we could potentially test what we need to test before it's like fully public, but we can manage that timing because, um, yeah, I can try to find base when base will.
One more thing regarding deploying to ZK Sync, we also would need a token list, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
um,
also a thing that would need to be, or create. It would be cool if there is some token list already there, or we need to create one. Anyway, we would need to do a research about like tokens that we got in the SDK, like I don't know, USDC, USDT, and so on. So that's another time,
yeah.
additional time too.
Is our other versions of Swapper our token list, or are we using other people's token list? Like 1inch has a token list, right? Or they use um, like Trust Wallet token list or something, right?
That's a really hard question.
But in the current ones we use, what are we using?
I think we use our token list, and then I think we should update our token list to just include all of CoinGecko's. I know that Leo is working on some of this token listings, and then he cannot talk right now. But maybe after the call, we will just yeah, write down.
Okay, but these
Yeah,
token lists that we already got on Swapper, they I don't think that they will work on another network, given the fact that the addresses may change.
yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true.
So basically, we got the no, we are not certain about the token list.
Yeah.
But when we went to Binance Chain, where do
Yeah.
we get the token list?
Um,
Like,
good
there's like a common token list that everyone's using, no?
question.
There was a time when the Uniswap list was the one that was like universal across all chains. However, as far as I know, I don't know if it's being updated or not.
Yeah,
I remember that there were times when it's not being updated.
yeah. I
Okay.
mean, we are using Pancake Swap's token list for BNB chain, and then it only has like 12 tokens, 13 tokens. Yeah, we need to take a
Only has
really good.
13 tokens?
Yeah, yeah.
How
I
could
think
how could Pancake Swap have only 13 tokens on Binance Chain? That doesn't make any
that
sense.
their token list has only 13 tokens.
How?
I don't know.
because probably they are
Yes.
using some other token list.
Somebody else's, yeah.
Yeah, they're using a better
Yeah.
list. Yeah.
I think everybody uses this CoinGecko.
Gecko, yeah.
I think it's better for just use CoinGeckos for now.
Yeah.
It has
Yeah, I
4,500
agree with
tokens.
Leo. So there is a risk that there is a manual checking of each token that we want to support, and that's kind of ugly.
Yeah,
But it is a real risk.
yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
Leo's,
when some if 1inch is there, or if a bunch of AMMs are on ZK Sync, they will be, if Uniswap, let's say, it will be using a token list, and then we can use that same token list.
yeah, yeah. We just need to keep an eye on if there is a token list that is.
Yeah, and if they have one, if ZK Sync team has one, they can send us the token list, yes. But
Yeah,
I think a lot of tokens aren't there yet. So there may not be a token list yet. But
yeah,
at some point, if people are using AMMs on a new chain, there is a token list, and then we can use that token list.
yeah.
But that's what I would have thought we would have done with Binance chain. But if we're using PancakeSwap token list, which has 12 tokens, then we didn't do that, which
No,
is weird. But we can figure out how to do that, a better token list. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, just to conclude, I don't think it will be one day.
Totally. um,
Yeah.
yeah, like public. Okay, public 4 to 6 weeks. Like I think that means public, like everyone. So depending on the information we can get in the next 2 weeks, we'll know if we could be close to having Swapr front end work for AMMs, like when it went open to the public.
Yeah.
And we can already, like they know we're not deploying contracts, but we could just apply. You can apply like we did with Arbitrum to be a launch partner, and then you get an address, a developer. We need a developer address whitelisted, like we did Federico's or something,
Yeah.
Arbitrum, and then they'll give you some ETH, and then you can like play around and test. So we can do that in the meantime, but that doesn't help us with the other questions. But we can
But
also
wait, you want to run Swapper on the ZK Sync without deploying a router?
no. I'm saying we probably won't deploy Swapper contracts on ZK Sync, but if you want to use it and even test it, you need a dev account. We need a dev account that gets approved with ETH, right?
Okay.
To test our Echo router when there's actually stuff live on ZK Sync before it's public, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So who do you want? If whoever wants to do this, and I guess we could maybe get more than one address, but whoever wants to like test, wants to use the bridge and have some ETH and some test it, send me that address, and we can. I guess I can fill out the launch partner form, and or I can find where that is, and then it's on the portal, and then we can pretend we're deploying, but we're not deploying. We're just testing our front end on what is already deployed on ZK Sync, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be nice to deploy as well. Uh,
Deploy Swapper?
yeah. Um,
Yeah, but that's the decision. Okay, yeah,
yeah.
that'd be cool too.
Separate
But
discussion. Yeah, that's a separate discussion that we need to take and then
like
figure out.
on Polygon and Optimism too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But then I think until now I think we were having this problem of having a DAO base. But I think we should just do it because with just a multi-sig, and then if there is enough adoption, then we decide on making a DAO base or having a guild or some sort.
Yeah, it would be tricky with guilds so far on all the nets.
Yeah.
You have the multi-sig where you're collecting fees.
Yeah.
You create those separately, right, for 1inch.
Yeah.
And then so we need We need more Swapr multi-sigs. Sounds. I mean, this is what Sushi Swap's on 15 chains, right? Like they have a multi-sig or
Yeah.
some person on every chain, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's hard to. Uh, it's the simple way.
All right. Um, yeah, then ZK Sync and then base is your prioritization, Sky, right?
Well, for me, base. I mean, what do you guys think of base? I think base is going to be a regulated chain.
Yeah, it will be for sure.
They say it's open, public, L2 and the optimism stack, but like, you think the bridge? I mean, depending. I don't know how they're going to gate it because if you can make your own bridge, but everyone that's going to have you think they're going to let like Tornado Cash, North Korean money get bridged over to base, and then you could use that money on base, and Coinbase, a public US company, is running the sequencer. You think they're going to put those trades from North Korean money into protocols? I don't. So it's not clear how it's going to work, but everyone's bullish it. But like in my mind, it's going to be a regulated chain.
I agree with Sky, and with regulation usually also comes censorship to
Yeah.
whoever they like, and I don't think that's quite good for the like philosophy or vision of the DAO.
Yeah, I mean, so the difference is the problem is the sequencers, right? The sequencers can literally
Yeah.
stop transactions, they can censor transactions, and they can actually
Yep.
stop the chain.
Yeah.
So the question is the optimism sequencer on the optimism main layer 2, if North Korean money comes on there, the government is not saying optimism, you better not put that North Korean trade, that known ETH that North Korea has through a trade, right? That's currently not happening. Maybe the government doesn't even know what that means. And there's
Probably.
whoever's running, like it's a centralized sequencer, and it's a company. Optimism's a company, so they could do that. Maybe there's something I'm missing, but Coinbase is that company, but that's a U.S. regulated public company who's
Public company,
very
yeah.
careful about anti-money laundering. And if the government, if they even if the government doesn't say don't put that trade through, if they put the trade through, the government can come later and say you put that trade through. So that's the only difference between Coinbase running the sequencer and Optimism running the sequencer is the government can come after Coinbase much easier later, right?
Yep. Especially because it's in the US and it's a public company.
Yeah, but if it's if it's open, they can gate the bridge, right? They're going to bring their Coinbase users directly to the chain from Coinbase Central and exchange.
Similar to what's Binance doing with their own
Yeah,
blockchain, right?
yeah. But then if it's like if anyone who can get ETH on base can like deploy whatever they want, like let's deploy Tornado Cash on base. If they actually let that happen, if the sequencer lets that happen, it would be
Someone will deploy Tornado Cash on there, so we will see soon what happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess the whole point is overall base is interesting because they could have 100 million users like on day one. It's less interesting because it might be regulated, but like we also like are on Binance, or our Echo router works for Binance chain, and we're like, oh, that's centralized, it's owned by Binance, but like we don't care, I guess.
I don't think there are a lot of users for Binance as well. The reason for us to use Binance is when people bridge over to Gnosis Chain or Arbitrum, then they use Swapr, and then it's like trying to trying to get Swapr for people who are bridging as well. So that's the reason why we went with Binance, and that's the reason why we should do with Base as well, because yeah, people might want to bridge.
Bridging from Binance chain onto Base would be pretty fun.
Yeah, I think LeFi and Connext and everybody offers that anyway. So um, okay. Cool. So moving on to this post that I wrote in DAO Talk. So I'm just trying to, yeah, I'll just try to summarize here, and then yeah, and then I mean, I don't have answers for everything, but then for some things, it's pretty clear. Like the first one, I'll go one by one, and then let me share my screen as well, so it's here. Cool. Swapper fee collection. I think we have collected 9.56 WETH and 25,433 extra in fees. Um, yeah, you can look at all the addresses that has collected, and then I also added a spreadsheet where I went through all the transactions where we ended up collecting fees. Was thinking that maybe we should just transfer ownership for the fee receiver to Swapper Safe Multisig to make this fee collection faster. And whatever fees that we have collected till now, also send that to Swapper Safe Multisig so that we can start doing buybacks easier. We don't have to post proposals. We don't want to post proposals to the DAO and then run it like how we do buybacks for DXT. So that is the first one. The next one is doing the buybacks. So initially it was suggested that 30% will be allocated for fee distribution, but then just for an interim solution, I was thinking that until the governance is ready, let's just do all buybacks. But that is just me. So if people wants that 30% fees, I think it is okay for them to have it. But it's very, very low. If you take 25,000 into account, it's pretty small. It's in like, yeah, if you have 1 million Swapper, you will probably get about $3,000. So yeah, that, no, not even $3,000. 30% of 3,000 is like $900. So instead, use all of that to buy back, and then we could use Stackly to do these buybacks. And yeah, in the future, we need to have some discussions on how this 30% fees should be distributed. I would prefer if it is native tokens instead of buying back Swapper and then distributing Swapper. I would just prefer that, yeah, send it. We are collecting in the native tokens. We just distribute it as native tokens. And then, yeah, next step is to initiate discussions around how Swapper governance should be. Should we use guilds, or should we have something like, yeah, velodrome kind of governance? So we need to start discussing that. Then the next one is bridging. So all of this buyback will happen in Gnosis chain because Stackly is built with Cow, so it will be on Gnosis chain, and then it will create some kind of disparity among Gnosis chain and Arbitrum one. So I was thinking that maybe we should probably partner with one of these bridge partners. So if people wants to take advantage of this price disparity, and if people wants to arbitrage the trades, I think we should just let them pay a little bit of fees. Swapper takes some fee, and then you should just let tokens to bridge between. Maybe we should have like a cap of how much Swapper should be in the bridge, so that, yeah, the bridge hacks, I'm not too sure how crazy it is these days, but yeah, not to have a lot of Swapr in the bridge. Um, so yeah, that's all. And then I also added two more things about asking DXDAO to add liquidity. We have in Gnosis chain we have like 13k USD TVL, and then in Arbitrum I think it is about 70k. Might be good if we increase that to about 200k, because at 1% fees on both these chains, 2% depth is nothing. Like $60-$70 in Gnosis chain gives about 2% depth. So yeah, so might be good to ask DXDAO to add more liquidity. There's like so much swapper lying around with DXDAO. Might be good to earn some fees out of it. Next is emissions. We need some clarity on emissions. I was thinking that maybe we do like 40k per week. Planned, we were doing about 120k per week. 120k per week, I think. When we were doing these emissions, it's like one third of that. Then I kind of feel like it might be better off to start at 40k and then see if we have to inflate or deflate based on how the adoption is. Yeah, that's all that I had. Any questions on this?
Nope.
Yeah, that's all I actually had. But now we have a little bit of time, and I will pick Neil if what does he think of UniV3, and maybe we'll just discuss here what would it take for us to fork UniV3 and then have it on Gnosis chain or somewhere else. Or did I bring it up too fast? Sky, do you in Denver? Do you get to see this gelato guys there? You know anybody?
Yeah, they should be here.
Yeah, there in Uni V3 there is something called as range limit orders, where you provide single side liquidity, and it's basically it will act as a range limit order. And if we partner with Gelato, you can offer limit orders on Uni V3, and once it crosses the range, which means like, yeah, your liquidity has swapped. So basically, if I have ETH and then I want USDC, I will say that I would set like the range price as 1,700. So when it reaches 1,700, my ETH position will get converted to USDC,
Yep.
but we need a relayer to actually exit the position. Because if
You want to
the
wait.
price,
You want to leave the order over that range rather than at one price.
it's called a range limit order, but then you can give that range to be one price.
Then that's just a limit order, though.
Yeah, it is just a limit order, but then they call it, yeah, I mean, Univ3
So,
docs call it range
yeah, but
orders.
we already can do limit orders, but if you want to do what you're saying, a range limit order, what it means is you sell your token you want to sell along a range, and then as it goes up, and then when it gets to the end of the range, you have sold your entire thing you want to sell across the range, and
Yeah.
then it withdraws.
Yes. Yes.
So it's not a single price, though; it's a range, right?
Yeah.
So,
You can
yeah.
give this as a single price as well.
Well, you have a single average price, right? You have a single average price in the middle of the range, and it could actually, you could in if it's in the range, there could be volatility up and down within the range, so you could actually make more fees, providing that liquidity in the range. But then when it gets to the end of the range and you're left with just the other token, you want to withdraw it. You're saying,
Yeah, correct.
interesting. Yeah. Do they already have that, or you want to do that?
I want to do that.
That's a very specific.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually pretty interesting because you can make a lot of fees in the meantime of accomplishing your order too. Interesting. Yeah, we can ask him about that. A range limit order.
Yeah, range limit order. I don't think it is there in Uni V3 screens, but I know that it's there in their docs.
In Gelato's docs or in?
No, in Uni V3 docs.
Well, that's literally I am already doing that on Uniswap V3. I just don't have an automated withdraw.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can do it manually, and then you can just. But if it goes down in the range, so let's say that let's take this example of 1,700. You at $1,700, I want to sell my ETH, right? So if you create this as a limit order, or create this as a range, like 1699 to 1700, then what happens is, like, when it crosses the range, when it is 1705, your exposure is full of USDC, but you need somebody to actively withdraw liquidity, right? Else, if
Or
it
like
falls down,
rebalance it and move it to the current tick.
yeah, exactly. Else, what happens is, like, if it falls down, then your exposure is fully ETH. Do you get it?
Yeah, but you in your example, it's not really a range. Like you're just doing like a tick, like a really close, a very, very tight range. That's just to like achieve a single price, basically.
Yeah.
I'm talking about selling ETH so buying ETH from 1,700 down to 1,600, and then you put that in, and then you put it all in USDC, but your range is 1,700 to 1,600, and then you buy all the way down, and then at 1,600 you're left with all ETH, and then you withdraw it. But you, in the volatility in the middle of the range, you actually earn more fees.
Yeah. That's also
You're just doing a single price, which you don't need Uniswap V3 for that. You can just leave an order.
Yeah,
on
that's also,
CrowdSwap or one, right?
Yeah.
But that's also an interesting idea. Like,
yeah,
so Arrakis, there's not, so there's Arrakis and Ichi are doing like, they have vaults which customize and move your tighter Uniswap V3 range around, but I don't know if it has the feature where do this and then at a certain price, like remove my liquidity. I'm not sure if that exists, but that's what
no, not that. I mean, Arrakis, it just keeps moving the concentration position. It just keeps rebalancing so that the liquidity is there in the vaults, and then the vault kind of manages where the position should be. And also, I think Arrakis walls are permissioned. You cannot do it on any pair. It is supposed to be on a pair that Arrakis allows. So it's like on WETH USDT or WETH Uni, only certain number of pairs. It's not permissionless.
Yeah, I mean all those things you put together in that doc or in that post are really good. I like using the fees to buy back Swapper token in an easy way. If we're gonna, if you have these multi sigs for 1 inch, we can make more multi sigs for. The question is like who's on these multi sigs.
Yeah. We
All the
need
different
to
chains.
make it transparent. Right now, it is only me and Leo.
Yeah.
Uh,
What, 1 of 2 or
I
2 of 2?
mean, actually, for the buybacks, we could like get the fees into a smart contract owned by the multi-sig, and then use like the DCA contracts to automatically get them sent there, something like that.
I mean,
Like,
we don't have to use this DCA contract at all. The DCA contract, why I had mentioned that it is because we will have about $50,000 in fees, and I mean, if we just buy back $50,000, it would.
yeah, true, true. But I mean, just so we also give traction to our own products, I think it's a
Yeah,
good idea. But anyway, using or not using the DCA contract, I think we can make a small and simple. I mean, to avoid having to get all the signers to sign. If we set the rules, so we are going a specific percentage of the fees, let's say every month, we can automate that if they don't want to go through the process of doing it manually. It shouldn't be too hard
yeah,
just having that.
yeah. In the initial version of the doc, we never mentioned anything about buybacks because there were some kind of legal discussions that came up.
Oh, okay.
People were a little bit unsure about whether we should buy back or whether we should. Yeah, it was never very clear. So we uh, yeah, I think we mentioned that 30% will be distributed. We didn't mention how we will distribute it. So I was thinking that if we are just collecting fees as native tokens, we don't even have to buy back. Let's just the buys and the price pressure should be discovered by the market, not doing these buybacks, right? So if we are making enough fees, and then if they think that people will stake to get this fees, they yeah, it would just be automatic instead of us pushing the price by doing these buybacks. So what was I saying now? Now I'm lost. Yeah, we get these back in native tokens, and 30% of the native tokens goes out to the people that have staked in vesting contract, and then 70% we keep it in the Swapper treasury. All right. Anything else? Sky is writing here.
Yeah, I actually have a little bit of ETH on ZK Sync era, but it's a very small amount, so I don't know if it's enough for testing, to be honest. But I fill out the form. You can look at that ecosystem portal. Like we can get Swapper on there, and then I think some of them say like deployed, and some say just coming or something. And then we
Yeah.
can get them whitelist, get a wallet whitelisted, and then once we get the ETH, then anyway I could just give it to you, whoever, and then we can test. We can test as much as we want, I guess.
Cool.
They're actually, the background. Well, the background is at ETH Denver. Apparently, for 25,000 people, the official wallet is My Ether wallet. So I don't know if you guys have tried that My Ether wallet, like
Oh, that's 2017.
the old school guys, right?
I was Gonna say I tried it like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Didn't know it still
Like
existed.
desktop. So now there's an app. I can send you the link. Well, it's in the App Store. My just MEW in the app in like Apple App Store and Chrome, I guess. That's the official wallet, but it only has mainnet and Polygon networks on it. And so next to them at this middle hub is the ZK Sync table, and they are the official L2 of ETH Denver, but their network's not even in the wallet yet. And so on Thursday, apparently they're gonna like release it into the app. It has to get it approved by Apple. This is I'm like, what the fuck are you guys waiting for? But then people are gonna that switch to that network. Well, you're gonna claim like a token on ZK Sync Era that you can use at ETH Denver to like buy food and drinks and stuff. But you'll claim that into your wallet on ZK Sync Era. So that would be the first time people are using this thing, but no one has any ETH on ZK Sync Era. So they're actually using like a paymaster, where they'll pay the gas only for transactions related to that token, basically for like buying food and stuff. It's kind of like yeah, no, I don't think it's account abstraction. I think it's just more like a meta transaction, but there's a paymaster, but no one else will be able to do anything else on ZK Sync Era other than because no one has any ETH on ZK Sync Era, and that bridge is whitelisted to only the early partners that are trying to deploy their contracts and stuff, right? So it's a bit of a jump the gun on something that's like probably not really ready yet. But that's why we could, with the right planning, we could get there. However, if you look at this punkwallet.io, which is a burner wallet, which Wayne already tried, check it out on your phone. Like you can use it in Safari, you can use it in, you don't even need a Web3 MetaMask or anything. That actually has ZK Sync Era network on it already, which is interesting. I could send you a tiny bit. Might be too tiny though.
This Punk wallet is from this Austin guy, right? Austin.
Yeah, Austin made it, but it's really cool. Like we were showing some taxi drivers like the other night, like to Uber drivers should they should put in the back of their car like during this week they should put I accept tips in crypto, but they need an easy way to do it, and MetaMask and all that shit's a pain in the ass. So like Punk wallets makes it really easy as a burner wallet. But like if they put a sign in the back of their Uber that says I accept crypto tips on like Optimism, Arbitrum, Canto, ZK Sync, Mainnet, Polygon, Gnosis chain, I feel like people would give them big tips.
Yeah. For sure.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, guys. Stop are now. Anything else that? Yeah, I just wanted to update here that we spoke with a designer that was let go from Polygon. Yeah, we are also talking to one more person that is marketing, branding kind of person in Polygon tomorrow, and yeah, we will see, yeah, where it takes us. I would love to have somebody that replaces Zet, so that we have a designer at least. So I think Leo Dirk Zet had an interview with him, and then he seemed to be decently good. He created design systems on his own and everything. So yeah, I'll try to see if things go the right way. And probably I will try to bring him in the next Swapper Weekly or Swapper bi-weekly. Next week we will not have a Swapper call. Yeah, we'll do it 2
So
weeks.
it's going to be weekly, okay?
Yeah.
We'll update my skill.
Yeah. Reason is I think this is going to be the size of the Swapper calls from now. Adam's gone, Violet's gone, so maybe yeah.
Is Zet going to leave us as well.
Yeah, I think Z
Okay.
will be 20%.
Okay.
Uh, so, I mean, he's going to be like helping us until we find a new person
Okay. Gotcha.
uh, for design, and also he's going. I'm trying to see if I can get. He has a lot of ideas on this liquidity.eth and how we should proceed. I'm just trying to see if we can get something out of him, like a
Uh,
design or like a
okay.
business plan on what needs to be done there.
Good. Good.
Are you still like officially looking for UX guys? Because I actually had a guy reach out to me on Discord today,
Yeah.
actually looking for, or you already found somebody that you wanna connect with.
No, no. I mean, if he's reached out, just ask him for a profile, like his dribble or there's some UX portfolio that he has. Just ask them to send it over.
Okay.
Is it Neil? Is it you that you're looking? Are you looking at Uniswap V3?
I am. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm currently like integrating it with the sapping contracts, but the idea is to also like look for the other ideas we have for
Yeah.
Unity 3. Haven't get there
So,
yet.
so Vanky's, I guess you wrote yesterday, like as simple of a like if we decide we want to have a Uniswap V3 style AMM, which might have to live, which would live differently than the current swapper contracts, obviously. Um, you know, the original swapper, the idea was to swap Uniswap V2, but
Yeah.
like had to change it so you could make the DAO own it, and there were some other changes. That took like a really, really long time, and so I don't know if it's because I don't know why, to be honest. Like
Okay.
over a
What I
year.
can say is I don't. I mean, I haven't yet went through research of what has been changed on like from UniV2 to the current swapper contracts. I
Mhm.
haven't done that work yet. I'm hoping to get there soon. So once I do that and like assess like what needs to be changed in order for the DAO to own it, I can say, yeah, it's going to be a pain in the ass for V3, and we have to go through the same, or it's going to be easy. We can use this code or not. But I don't have an answer yet.
Gotcha. Like,
How urgent we need these?
well, if you could look like, well, you're not allowed to do it until like April or
No,
something.
no, no. I know, but like, yeah, okay. But we will
In
need
this
also need
answer, but
time for
so as
development and everything.
As Venky is saying, like the simplest thing that you could possibly do is copy the entire front end of Uniswap, change the name to Swapper, and copy the entire back end, and wherever you have the unit token
Yeah,
controlling things,
yeah. Just
you
change it
you would
to
make DX
yeah,
DAO, I guess, instead of
yeah,
a token. But that's okay. That's not a token anymore. That's now a DAO or a multi-sig, like simpler, a multi-sig, right? The a swapper multi-sig.
yep.
In my mind, like if you literally are forking and changing a handful of things and you want to make sure you've changed everything you need to change, like this is in my mind, that's like a week. Like because you're not changing anything, you're literally copying the entire thing, right? And
Yeah,
you're
just forking it, and yeah, I mean, as I said, I don't know what were the struggles or the technical um, issues that the developers faced changing the same thing on Unity 2, but I'm thinking in the same way as you, as it shouldn't be too hard.
yeah.
But yeah,
One,
I will do a deeper research into the commits of the current swap contracts and see what changed, and see if we will have the same trouble on Unity 3 or not. That shouldn't take that long, at least to have an answer for that.
yeah. And I
Just
guess Augusto and Federico would be if they're
Yeah,
willing,
yeah, I
would
will
be
be in contact with
with
them,
people
obviously. I
that
have
could
a call with
describe in words like the changes that they had to do and took so long. I don't know.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I will ask him. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
I have a decent idea what changes was made in Univ 2 to Swapper.
Okay.
Um, yeah, if you are not able to find time from them, and then we can discuss because I think you get the right ones from them. But if we are going with Uni v3, I'm not too sure if we should still have this Uni v2 and the Uni v3 style contracts, right?
I mean,
Well,
both can live in the same, like within the same scope of things, because it's just different way of doing AMM. I think
well,
both are cool.
hold on. So
Yep.
so Uniswap front end, which is if we copy their front end too,
Yep.
they have their own router which routes and splits stuff between like pools on V2 and V3. Part of the issue is they have so much liquidity on V2 still that they can't just abandon it.
Cool.
We
Yeah.
we everything you can do on Uniswap V2, you can do on Uniswap V3. It's
Yeah,
just
but
a little more
but
complex.
like, for example, I remember I don't remember who was it, but I remember reading a post of I think it was Dao like abandoning UniV3 and swapping to UniV2 because they were like tired of doing all the balancing and they were getting more fees on V2 rather than V3. Not sure what pool, uh,
Yeah, but
but
hold on. On those pools, you can just do the full range on Uniswap V3. You can
yeah,
provide
but
liquidity on
then
the full
what
range.
happens is the people that do a smaller range and rebalance more often or more like
Very active.
accurately, they get most of the fees,
Yeah.
and that's their advantage. So even though can do the full range, someone else can come and do a more tighter range and get more fees. In V2, like everyone gets the same share.
Okay. So, but like, if DXDAO is going to provide liquidity on DXD with, we would, well, we'd probably want to do that using Arrakis version on Swapr, right? On Swapr V3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you leave V2 and V3, then you need to basically use the whole. You have to copy also Uniswap's routing, which who knows if that's licensed separately, which then gets a lot more complex. Yes, but if we just launched V3
But
separately, so we had Swapr and we had Swapr V3, and you just have them separate, but they don't do cross routing and stuff, then you could have that. I'm trying to think what simple and fast works. Yeah.
another thing would be like you want to swap two tokens. We have swap v2, swap v3 on the same front end and check like off chain. Okay, where is the best price?
Gotcha.
And then like after you have like swap 1 inch, whatever the list, you have swap v2, swap v3,
Yeah. So that fits like the
and we
pools.
avoid the contract routing complex shit.
Yeah, the pools of Swapr V3 kind of sit on some new place called liquidity.eth, I guess, right? And then
Yeah,
that's
for example.
pools. The other big difference between the two is farming, right? So the LP token.
Oh
The
yeah,
reason
you
why
have big
people
trouble
like
there.
V2 is the LP token is the same for everyone.
Yep.
V3, they're all NFTs and you can't
It's
fucking
a
use them
pain
and
in
you
the
can't
ass.
farm for
Yeah,
them.
yeah, that's
So
it.
that's the biggest difference on the
Yeah.
secondary effects of the LP tokens, which
True.
is a huge difference.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
people also
And
like
also, for example, if you like want to like trade half of your position or send them over to a contract, you can't because you have one NFT.
Yeah.
So you send them the whole thing or nothing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
also like a composability issue, but that's like by design on B3. Yeah, we can work on updating that, but that's a whole new problem.
totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely good value we could add to B3.
Yeah. But I mean, if for farming, I was thinking that maybe we could have like ERC20 vault that takes in all these liquidity positions, and whoever deposits to these vault, they can farm rewards.
I don't think that
I mean,
works.
yeah, there is definitely ways of doing it, but
Yeah.
it's just more complex and it's like non-standard to what everything we have built for years for ERC20s. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not that it's not possible; it's just different, and
Yeah.
so you have to build things, new things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing, like we will address, is that on April there's going to be Uni v3 deployments on every chain multiple times. So like I think everyone is going to try to like get that liquidity somewhere.
Yeah. I think
Most of them with no extra value. So as much value as we can add would be like a good differentiator over the others.
yeah. Or just wait and see if there is any other good solution that comes out of all of this, and then
And we copy it
yeah,
like your style.
yeah. Because anyways, we are copying Uni v3. But
Yeah.
instead, if somebody else,
It's a crypto philosophy. Copy
yeah,
your competitor and succeed.
yeah, yeah. I think by April 1, I don't think we will be in a position to make this release uh, with Uni v3 and the front end changes and everything.
Yeah,
So unless and until
unfortunately.
unless and until we just create a new brand. I mean, in Swapr, it is going to be really difficult. So unless and until it's like a new brand that just rips everything out of Uni v3 and then change just the colors and schemes and such, and then have like a new brand, then it works. Else, I think we can just wait and then see how this wave goes up and down, and then figure out what is the best one to copy.
Yeah, good work.
All right. Anything else? It's a good call. Like small group of people, but
Yeah, but
Agree.
good conversation.
yeah,
Good idea to go. I mean, if we could ride that ZK thing train, that would be fantastic, to be honest.
yeah,
Because there
yeah. I
really
mean,
is like, there's a lot of chatter about it now all the time. If you go on Twitter, you see lots of people are talking about it everywhere.
yeah. I'm trying to see if I could find somebody that can just tell how good the UX will be after the ZK rollups are there and after the account abstraction is there, because everything is like these Twitter threads that are just explaining in plain text about how account abstraction is going to be so awesome. I'm trying to see if I can find a designer that can just design, okay, this is how a DEX operates today, this is how it will be after account abstraction. So um, how the transactions will be bundled, how you will give permissions for doing certain set of actions, and so on. So, yeah, we'll see.
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys.
Cool.
All right. Um,